You have big dreams, you can see yourself succeeding. You imagine the life you want so clearly that it feels almost real. But when it comes to actually doing the work, you freeze, you wait. You tell yourself, tomorrow will be different. And tomorrow comes, and you do the same thing all over again. You are not alone in this. There is a whole category of people who are exactly like you, ambitious but lazy, full of ideas but stuck in place. And the worst part is you are capable of more. You just cannot seem to make yourself move. Let me paint a picture. You wake up with good intentions. Today is the day. But then you check your phone. A few minutes of scrolling turns into an hour. Half the day is gone. You tell yourself you will start after lunch. Lunch comes and goes. At night, you lie in bed feeling guilty, promising yourself tomorrow will be different. But when tomorrow comes, the motivation is gone and the cycle repeats. This pattern has been going on for months, maybe years. So what is actually going on inside your mind? And more importantly, is there a way out? Stay with me because what you are about to hear might finally explain why you have been stuck and what to do about it. Before we dive into the psychology, I want you to understand something. Not all ambitious, lazy people are the same. There are actually 4 types, and knowing which one you are changes everything. The first type is the fear of failure type. You avoid starting because deep down, you are terrified that if you actually try and it does not work out, you will have to face the truth that maybe you are not as capable as you thought. So you stay in the fantasy where you could succeed if you wanted to. It feels safer than risking proof that you cannot. The second type is the fear of success type. This one surprises people. You are afraid of what happens if things actually work out. More responsibility, more pressure, more eyes on you. Your brain sees success as a threat to your current comfort, so it keeps you stuck right where you are. The third type is the burned out type. You are not lazy, you are exhausted. You have been pushing yourself in other areas of life, school, work, relationships. And by the time you get to your personal goals, there is nothing left. What looks like laziness is actually your body and mind begging for rest. The fourth type is the executive dysfunction type. Your brain literally struggles to start tasks. Not because you do not want to, but because the wiring that connects intention to action is not firing properly. This is common in people with ADHD or chronic anxiety. You sit there wanting to move, but feeling physically unable to begin. Most people are a mix of these types, but recognizing which patterns dominate your behavior is the first step toward breaking free. And here is an important note. If you recognize yourself strongly in the third or fourth type, if this pattern is severe and has been going on for a long time, please consider talking to a mental health professional. Sometimes what looks like laziness is actually depression, anxiety, or ADHD. There is no shame in getting help. In fact, it might be the smartest and most ambitious thing you ever do. Now let us talk about what is happening in your brain, because this is not about being a bad person. This is not about lacking intelligence or talent. This is about psychology. This is about patterns that have been built over time. And the good news is, if something was built, it can be changed. You are living in a constant state of conflict. One part of you wants to achieve great things. That part dreams big, sets goals, imagines success. But another part of you wants to avoid discomfort. That part wants safety, ease, protection from failure and rejection and hard work. And right now, the part that wants comfort is winning. Not because you are weak, but because your brain is designed to avoid pain and seek pleasure. That is basic human survival wiring. There is actually a scientific formula for this. Dr. Piers Steel, one of the world's leading researchers on procrastination, calls it the Procrastination Equation. Motivation equals expectancy times value, divided by impulsiveness times delay. In simple terms, you procrastinate when the reward feels far away and the distraction feels close. That is why scrolling your phone always wins. The reward is instant. Your goal is months or years away. Your brain does the math and chooses the phone every single time. When you think about working on your goals, your brain sees effort, uncertainty, the possibility of failure. So it offers you an easier option. Scroll, watch videos, play games, do something that feels good right now. Your brain rewards you with a hit of dopamine. The discomfort goes away. And your brain learns that avoiding your goals makes you feel good. So it keeps encouraging you to avoid. This is not laziness. This is your brain's survival mode. It thinks it is protecting you, but here is the problem. While your brain is protecting you from short-term discomfort, it is stealing your long-term happiness. Every day you avoid your goals, you are building a habit of avoidance. Every day you choose comfort over action, you are teaching your brain that your dreams do not matter. And then there is perfectionism. You have such a clear vision of what success looks like that anything less feels like failure. So you wait for the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect feeling of readiness. But perfect never comes, ready never comes. Dr. Fuskia Sidwa, a researcher at Durham University, found that perfectionism and procrastination are deeply linked. And the bridge between them is fear. Perfectionism is not about having high standards. Perfectionism is fear disguised as excellence. It is your brain giving you a beautiful excuse to never start. Because if you never start, you can never fail. Let me be honest with you. You are afraid that if you actually try and it does not work out, you will lose the one thing that keeps you going. The belief that you could succeed if you wanted to, that belief is comfortable, it is also hollow, and deep down you know it. Here is what you need to understand. Failure is not the opposite of success. Inaction is the opposite of success. When you fail, you learn something. When you do nothing, you learn nothing. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you have even tried. The difference is they kept moving. Let me tell you about someone who lived this exact pattern. Before he wrote the book that would sell over 10 million copies, James Clear was just a guy who could not get his life together after a serious baseball injury in high school. He spent years feeling stuck, ambitious, but unable to make progress. He did not have some magical moment of motivation. What he did was start tracking one tiny habit at a time. He showed up to the gym even when he did not feel like it. He wrote one paragraph when he wanted to write a whole chapter. He built so slowly that most people would not have even noticed the progress. Years later, those tiny actions compounded into Atomic Habits, one of the best-selling books of the decade. He did not succeed because he was more talented or more motivated than you. He succeeded because he learned to take imperfect action consistently. And that is exactly what you need to learn. So how do you actually break this cycle? How do you go from someone who dreams to someone who does? It starts with accepting a hard truth. You are not going to feel like doing it. You are probably never going to wake up bursting with energy and excitement to work on hard things. That is not how the brain works. You are going to have to do it anyway, especially when you do not feel like it. Because every time you take action despite the resistance, you are rewiring your brain. You are teaching it that discomfort is not dangerous. You are building the muscle of discipline. Strategy 1, the 2-minute rule. This comes from behavioral psychology and was popularized by James Clear. Here is how it works. Whatever habit you want to build, scale it down to something that takes 2 minutes or less. Want to write a book? Your habit is not write a chapter. Your habit is open the document and write one sentence. Want to exercise? Your habit is not work out for an hour. Your habit is put on your running shoes. This sounds ridiculous, but that is the point. Your brain resists big tasks. It does not resist tiny ones. And once you start, something interesting happens. You usually keep going. The hardest part is always the first 2 minutes. Make those 2 minutes so easy that you cannot say no. Strategy 2, implementation intentions. Research by Dr. Peter Gallwitzer shows that people who use if-then planning are significantly more likely to follow through on their goals. Instead of saying, I will work on my project tomorrow, say when I sit down at my desk after breakfast, I will open my laptop and work on my project for 50 minutes. Be specific about when, where, and what. Your brain needs a clear trigger. Vague plans produce vague results. Specific plans produce action. Strategy 3, design your environment. Your environment is controlling you more than you realize. If your phone is next to you, you are going to check it. If your workspace is messy, you are going to feel scattered. If you are surrounded by distractions, you are going to get distracted. This is not a willpower problem. This is a design problem. Successful people do not have more willpower than you. They have better systems. Turn off notifications. Put your phone in another room. Clean your desk. Set a specific time every day for focused work and protect that time like it is sacred. Close unnecessary tabs. Remove everything that is not essential. Make it harder to be distracted than it is to focus. Every distraction you remove is a decision you do not have to make. And every decision you do not have to make is energy you can put toward your actual goals. Strategy 4, the accountability bridge. Find one person, just one, and tell them what you are going to do, not your whole plan. Just tomorrow's one small action. Text them tonight. Because when someone else knows, your brain treats it differently. It is no longer just a promise to yourself that you can quietly break. Research consistently shows that accountability increases follow-through rates dramatically. You do not need a coach or a mentor. You just need one person who will ask, "Did you do it?" Strategy 5, stop consuming, start executing. Here is something you might not want to hear. You need to stop consuming so much content. You are probably watching videos about success, reading articles about productivity, listening to podcasts about motivation. And all of that feels like progress, but it is not. It is another form of avoidance. It is your brain tricking you into thinking that learning is the same as doing. You do not need more information. You already know what you need to do. You need to stop learning and start executing. Here is what is going to happen when you start taking action. You are going to feel resistance. You are going to want to quit. You are going to have days where you fall back into old patterns, and that is okay. Progress is not a straight line. You are going to mess up. You are going to skip days. But here is what separates people who eventually succeed from people who stay stuck forever. People who succeed do not let one bad day turn into a bad week. They do not let one mistake become an excuse to give up. They acknowledge the setback and they get back on track. That is the secret. Just keep coming back. And you need to stop beating yourself up. Guilt does not motivate you. Shame does not make you better. Dr. Fuskia Sirwa's research actually proves this. Self-compassion, not self-criticism, is what helps procrastinators change. Every time you lie in bed hating yourself for wasting another day, you are making the problem worse. You are reinforcing the belief that you are someone who fails. Instead, talk to yourself the way you would talk to a friend. You messed up today. Okay, tomorrow is a new day. You did not do everything you planned. That is fine. Do one thing right now. Forgiveness is not about letting yourself off the hook. Forgiveness is about giving yourself permission to try again without carrying the weight of past failures. Here is what you need to remember. You are not lazy. Lazy is not who you are. Lazy is what you have been doing, and there is a difference. Who you are is someone with dreams, with potential, with the ability to change. What you have been doing is avoiding discomfort, because your brain has not learned, yet that discomfort leads to growth. Now you understand the psychology. You know about the procrastination equation. You know about the 4 types. You know that perfectionism is fear in disguise. You have real strategies. The 2-minute rule, implementation intentions, environment design, accountability, and the courage to execute instead of just consume. Ambition without action is just fantasy. But action without self-compassion will not last. You need both. The discipline to move even when you do not feel like it, and the compassion to forgive yourself when you fall short. That balance is what creates lasting change. You have spent the last few minutes watching this video. That is time you could have spent starting, so here is your test. Close this video, set a timer for 10 minutes, and do the one thing you have been avoiding. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, right now. That 10 minutes is the first brick of your new life. Just do it.